Hello and welcome back to Something Racer EV. You join us here in Montelimar in southern France. We just drove down from Lyon, and in the comments section I always read, Greg, you never visit France. You go to Germany, you go to the UK, but you never visit France. Well, you know what? We decided to take this trip. Let's check out some of these crazy French charging sites that I keep reading and hearing so much about. Let's get into it. Let's go. So as you see, we are here just outside of Montelimar at a FastNed site, a beautiful new FastNed site. So there are 16 chargers here, and you have a 17 pull through. We have our Opel Frontera. I keep wanting to call it a Mocha, but it's not that. It's just your plain Jane Opel Frontera, but these are beautiful charging sites here. So we're going to tour this one as we are now, and we're going to check out a few more charging sites on this trip because the charging infrastructure here in Europe is just absolutely wild. We've covered FastNed sites before, so these are your solar cells. They're all solar roofed, Alpitronic Hypercharger 300s. And I've had to switch to my GoPro because I lost the wind sock for my other camera. We'll just walk down here to the pull-through one that does have CHAdeMO on it. But this is your very typical French gas station service center just off the autoroute. That's Autoroute 7 heading south towards Marseille. And we have our pull-through FastNed Alpitronic Hypercharger 300, and you have your 22 kilowatt AC, CHAdeMO, all the usual stuff. And as I already mentioned, this is going to be a compilation video with several French charging sites. I really want to do a video on France for the French viewers, and this is not a place that we come to all that often. Even it's very strange, even though I speak French, we don't come to France all too often and do any EV road tripping. I think the last time we came here was 2 years ago. This thing, well, I guess it's okay. I maybe should have paid money for that upgrade, but all is well here. This is your very typical, God, I wish I had these in Quebec. It's just absolutely wild. And these are everywhere. There's charging absolutely here. I'll turn the camera around. There's charging absolutely everywhere along this autoroute. This is a main north-south corridor between Lyon, Avignon, and Marseille to bring you to the south of France, to bring you to the Mediterranean. And just every exit there's charging. So I think we're going to wrap it up here. We'll go check out site number 2, which I think is going to be IONITY, one of their flagship sites here in France. Let's go check that out. So that's going to be it from this FastNed Montelimar site. Let's go check out the other one. Now you join me at a very beautiful IONITY site. This is the first IONITY site that I've come across that has been covered. I don't think we've covered a covered IONITY site on the channel. And don't let the beautiful weather here fool you. It is extremely cold. That's why I put my hat back on. So let's do a little tour here, continuing our compilation video of French EV charging sites. Let's get into this one and see what it's all about. This is a beautiful covered IONITY site. You have your usual 350 kilowatt dispensers. Your power equipment is behind there. That's all closed off. We're used to that in Europe. Very hard to have filmed that. But how many dispensers do you have? How many chargers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. You have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's a lot of equipment here. And what's cool, as I said, covered stalls and pull-through charging over here. I think you might be able to even get a big rig in here. I just saw a electric big rig, but very cool charging site. And what's even crazier is here, these are like every 15 or 20 kilometers there's some sort of charging, whether it's IONITY, FastNed, Electra, which is a local provider. And here you have another covered area. Old school 50 kilowatt IONITY. I've never seen one of these before. That has CHAdeMO and 22 kilowatt 3-phase AC on here because we are in Europe. That's really old school. I've never seen one of those before. And you have your 22 kilowatt charging here as well. It says here, and it's actually, there's no charge apparently on that. Charge here on DC fast charging, 33 cents a kilowatt hour. I have my IONITY pass. That's stupid cheap. That's half price of what it was at FastNed. Ad hoc here, I think ad hoc's about the same, around 49 cents or 55 euro cents a kilowatt hour. So far, I know I keep saying this, I'm torn on it. The steering on it is really good. The suspension on it, it rides really nice, but everything else is, yeah, we'll do a full review of that. But I wish we had charging like this at home. And I'll turn the camera around. Sorry, it's getting kind of cold, so my mouth is that is usually flapping is wanting to close back up. I wish we had stuff like this back at home. I keep saying it. It's just, I don't understand what's going on back in Canada. But here, I came to France in 2022 with my dad, and we saw some EV charging going in, but it's just, this is a super busy route between Lyon and Marseille via south of France, and it's just absolutely wild how it's covered with EV charging. And it's a Saturday, November. None of the sites are really busy. Although I would not want to be here in the summertime during holidays in August, because I'm pretty sure this place is going to be properly full. Let's go see if we can visit any of that power equipment that I'm dying to see here. Let's put the camera up like this. There we go. We can see the power equipment in there, and high power charging for electric vehicles. Really cool. And as I said, I'll bring you more of the charging sites as we come across them, because we're about an hour behind schedule filming all this stuff and stopping along the way. So we'll be in Avignon soon. I just wanted to bring you this. Now you join us at this Atlante charging site here in southern France. So you have 24 chargers here. So you have Alpitronic Hypercharger 150s, a couple of mixed in 300s with CHAdeMO. I don't know why they put the CHAdeMO on the 300s. You have 22 kilowatt AC. We got the Frontera charging up. We have a e-Transit charging up as well. And again, a row of 12 Alpitronic Hypercharger 150s and 300s. But what's interesting, I've never seen a 150 in the 300 or 400 cabinet before. So I will have to ask Brendan Flash about that. He'll know more about that than me. But this is again a charging site here just off of a major autoroute at a typical French service station. Covered, unfortunately, no solar roofs whatsoever. That's a bit strange. I would have put some solar roofs in here and a battery backup to at least power the services. We have our Opel Frontera charging up. Perhaps one of the worst charging EVs I've lived with in recent memory. And we have some copyrighted music playing, but I don't think no one's going to say anything about it. Session active. 45 kilowatts is pulling right now because you can't heat the damn battery in it. It's just horrible. But we're focusing on the charging site. You have your squeegee for your windscreen washing. You have your you have a vacuum cleaner and tire pressure inflation, and some sort of exercise equipment here. We are at 59 euro cents a kilowatt hour. That's about average what I've seen ad hoc. I got it a bit cheaper through a through Electroverse, and this is your pull-through bay over here as well. So you could just roll up in your trailer or your truck or whatever and charge up another Alpitronic Hypercharger 150. But yeah, this is typically what EV charging here is in France and in Europe for the most part. It's always going to be very good. Haven't had any issues whatsoever charging cars here, except when you're in a slow charging Opel Frontera that you can't preheat the battery on. But again, tons of charging. It's a Sunday, it's quiet. People will be commenting on that saying, how come there's no one here? EVs don't work. Well, let me tell you something. Here, you got charging like this like every 20 kilometers and sometimes multiple sites like this. So it's just not, you have a few sites. You got sites like this everywhere here. So we'll finish up charging here. We'll get unplugged and we'll get back on the road because we got to go to Toulouse, and for sure we'll have to make another 2 stops to get there with the efficiency on this thing and the charging. So pretty cool site and preferred network of Stellantis. And we have a Stellantis product, which is cool. We just stopped here, and I just wanted to show you the Electra charging site. So again, Alpitronic Hypercharger 150s, you have a Type 2. We got ourselves an Xpeng charging up. Very nice site. I mean, look how nice it says, a 400 kilowatt. There's a pull-through over there, maximum 200 kilowatt. That's also pretty nice. So again, France, like I said, these charging sites are like every 10 to 15 kilometers. They're everywhere, especially on the well-used routes. What's the ad hoc rate? Let me see. Let's go to a language. No, that's not working. Instructions, well, that's not working at all. App is 50% less here. Actually, that did work. It was a bit slow. Instructions. It doesn't actually say, but I think I saw 54 cents a kilowatt hour, which is not too, which again, ad hoc is not too terrible. France is pretty cheap here, yeah. So it's 54 euro cents a kilowatt hour, so not bad. Nice site here though, very nice site. Now we are at our second to last charging site that we should be visiting on this trip. Unfortunately, the Opel Frontera, how should I say this, is not the most energy efficient, let's put it that way. Small battery, you're charging, I'm not kidding, like every hour and a half, but luckily we are in France where the infrastructure is good, and we are here at a 8-post Alpitronic Hypercharger 300 Electra site. You could charge up to 16 cars here. And as I said, charging here is like every 10, 20, 30 kilometers. You're not going to run out of it. Are these sites cheap? Well, you're paying for convenience for sure. Like ad hoc here, I think is 60 euro cents a kilowatt hour, which has become pretty normal on these trips. Yes, there are Tesla superchargers. Tesla is going to be a lot cheaper, but those tend to be further off the auto routes, in my experience anyways here. So we just stick with the charging along the auto route because it's getting on and back on. You know, if you're going to save 10 cents ad hoc, I really don't see the point. If you have a subscription, it makes sense. But actually with the Electra Plus, it's 29 cents a kilowatt hour. I didn't buy it for this trip. We mostly used IONITY, but let's go check out this site. I think I have been here before in one of our first videos that we posted on the channel. So I'll turn the camera around and we'll get started. So you have 16 cables, CCS I should say. CHAdeMO Type 2 22 kilowatt AC is still big here. We saw a Dacia Spring charging off of it. But this is again a very nice site, covered. Helps when it's covered and it's raining. Super easy to use. We know all about the hyperchargers. We don't need to get into that. But really, really well-designed site. Quick off and on the highway to the services, gas station on the other side. All lined up nicely. This is what I like to see. Shows you what's free, shows you what's occupied, and even better, it shows you the price. This is something I've noticed in France a lot, is that everywhere seems to be advertising the price. Please, if you're French, let me know if this is a legal requirement, but everywhere seems to be displaying the price. But what I noticed, it will display fuel prices on the auto route, but it won't display charging prices. So that's something I would like to see as well. Yeah, 60 euro cents a kilowatt hour, which is pretty average in my opinion based on this trip. Still cheaper than Germany, that's for sure. 46 cents a kilowatt hour for the Type 2 22 kilowatt 3-phase. And I believe when we came here once before, I used this post right here to film, and we had the Polestar parked here because I came in the wrong way versus following the one-way system. And again, the charging infrastructure in Europe, I'll turn the camera back around. Charging infrastructure in Europe is just so good, and especially in Western Europe or Northern Europe. We haven't done that Eastern European trip yet. Maybe we'll do a Central Europe, Eastern European trip. But this whole area of France is really beautiful. We love Southern France. It also helps when you speak French. Makes it a bit easier. But this is EV charging in Europe. The United States is getting really lucky with IONA. IONA is basically just copying what they did with IONITY and copying a lot of the European sites. And some of those sites are looking good at IONA. Some of the sites in Canada are starting to look a bit behind. Quebec, I'm looking at you. You got to get it together. And although people will say, hey, 50 kilowatts, I could charge up for an hour and be there while eating. Yeah, it's fun, but how many coffees and how many visits to Tim Hortons are you going to do on your charging trip? Not a lot. You don't want to be wasting time. You need high power equipment. You want quick site turnover. And this is what you get here. Good equipment, reliable equipment, nice charging sites. Sometimes you have to pay a bit more of a premium, but I'm fine with that. I'm fine. I don't mind paying a bit more if it's going to work at night and you show up and you know where it is. You're not driving off autoroute for 15 minutes looking for something in the back next to a dumpster. I have one more site to visit. I've been wanting to see it for a while. That's going to be in Toulouse. So we'll see you at that site. Or maybe I'll find something else along the way, but I think we'll see you at that site in Toulouse by the airport. I have saved the best for last. This is one of Electra's flagship sites, completely covered right by Toulouse airport. Let's give you the quick site tour here because I kind of want to get back to the hotel, but really, really cool site. Let's get into it. I'll turn the camera around. As you can see, we are charging up the Frontera. This is a site where you actually need a code to get into and to reserve your spot. So you just scan the QR code with the app, 24% state of charge. We've already plugged in. And of course the battery is freezing cold again, but look at this place here. A bit dirty, obviously. I mean, let's just hope that's for the nighttime. But I mean, it's not too bad looking. I wish they would keep it a lot cleaner, but everything seems to be working. Alpitronic Hypercharger 400s. As we come back around this way, there's quite a lot of people here just hanging out, not actually charging, which is kind of weird. But again, really, really nice site here. Super cool to see all covered charging. And as I said, you have to enter a code at the gate. But what I think people are doing is they're downloading the app, reserving a spot, and then waiting here because the airport's just over there. But this is an interesting, really interesting charging site. I don't think we need to cover it too much. Renault Scenic charging up. But so far so good. The charging has been interesting in France, and I don't think we need to get too much involved. We already know the equipment. I just wanted to make this video to basically show you what the infrastructure looks like in France. I'll turn the camera back around. The infrastructure here in France, I know if you're from France, you might be saying that there are dead zones, and I would agree, there's dead zones everywhere with EV charging. And we also were sticking to the a really main trunk route, basically from Lyon down to Avignon, then across through Montpellier, through up to Toulouse, a very popular route in southern France. But it was just so well covered, and I know that area gets really, really slammed up in the summertime and over the school holidays with traffic, and there has been stories I was reading about queues for charging. But overall, the experience here in France has been great. Look, we have probably one of the worst vehicles I've had on the channel in quite a long time. Not that white Vietnamese car that we won't mention names, but I'll tell that story another day. Everything has worked, no failed charges. I don't think I would do a road trip with one of these again. It was not, maybe the 54 kilowatt hour version, but what impressed me here the most was just the abundance. Again, high-speed charging, it was everywhere. Every 10-20 kilometers you found a charging site. It worked. The price here is 49 cents a kilowatt hour. The ad hoc prices seem to be reasonable, a lot cheaper than Germany, or even when we were in Belgium, a lot cheaper, probably about 15 to 20 euro cents cheaper. What I found, as you know, is Denmark, Norway, Sweden probably had the cheapest charging that we've come across, but France has been pretty good. France has been pretty good in terms of cost. And you know, on this channel, I don't really visit Tesla superchargers. There's no kind of reason. Tesla DC fast charging will probably be the cheapest, but we already know what those sites look like, and I focus on the charging providers that aren't Tesla. So get to France, get an EV, go driving around. It's awesome. You're not going to have any problems. And also at the same time, well, maybe rent an EV that has better charging and a lot longer range, because this one here was not a lot of fun to drive on this trip. Just way too much charging. But hey, we got to check out the charging infrastructure here in France, and it was phenomenal. So for all our French viewers, merci, bonne soirée, à la prochaine.